Good morning, Weather Weenies. It is the morning of Saturday, June 29th here. We're going to focus on the New England weather. We're going to talk about why SPC is talking about New England for Sunday and what the week is looking like with the 4th and why forecast models are disagreeing on what's going on later this week. This is going to be the last weather update I do for a few days. We've got our annual family off the grid camping trip. We go get lost in Maine for a few days. So this will be the last weather update I do today. So when I give you these updates, I'm going to tell you what you need to be concerned with, but also where you can look to get more information so you can be a weather weenie while I'm gone. I'll be back somewhere around the 4th. I've got 2 more videos that I'm going to post today, though, because I've got 2 more sweet things to talk about. But this is the only weather forecast. Let's go. Storm Prediction Center, spc.noaa.gov. Very simple and easy. This is where you can go and look at convective outlooks. So here's today's convective outlook. Here's tomorrow's. And so see how New England has a little bit of this yellow. We're going to go ahead and click on it. And we can see that we are in a slight risk if you are really kind of coastal from mid-Atlantic all the way up through New England. Slight hail chance. Biggest concern is going to be winds in any storms that form. But there's a non-zero tornado that you need to know about. Let's talk about today first, though. Saturday, June 29th. It's going to rain. And it looks like widespread rain for a lot of New England and a reasonable amount of it. Different models are saying between 1.75 to 2.25 inches in some places. Some models are saying maybe it might be a little bit less. Bottom line is it looks like it's going to be pretty reasonable rain for almost everybody. Possibly some rumbles of thunder with what's going on tonight. No severe weather that I'm concerned about. So then if you want to look at forecast models, we're going to go to pivotalweather.com and we're going to click on models. And here's where we select the time frame we want to look at, the model, what region you want to look at, and if you want to look at a loop. So I always do, you can do HRRR for short-term stuff or GFS for long-term stuff. I typically zoom into the Northeast so you can see more granularly, and we're going to do a forecast loop. This shows the rounds of rain and showers and stuff that come through, really looking at it mostly being tonight. So here we are at 18Z, which is the same as 6. Got to do math, so like 2. All right, so this is 2 p.m. our time. Let's see, here we are, 2 p.m. our time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And seeing how within some of these storms, we just, especially on the backside of it, little blips of yellow where I think we're going to get some rumbles of thunder through these northern areas and through these southern locations, and it could happen here too. This means I'm going to have a lot of people in my house tonight because we're hosting a massive cookout. Oh well. As for Sunday's potentially severe weather, a cold front drapes across the area, and there's enough energy and wind shear associated with it where it says the models are actually quite bullish with scattered convection and strong rotating updrafts developing from the Canadian border through southwest New Hampshire, with these storms moving to the east-southeast. This is why SPC put that area in the yellow. Primary threats, damaging winds. Hail, the recipe for hail isn't great, and the one for tornadoes isn't great either. Actually looking like a lot of just straight line. There's not a lot of low level wind shear associated with it, but it's still hit the button too soon. It's still a non-zero chance. Should feel pretty humid during the day on Sunday. And I know when people feel that, it's if you've lived in the Midwest, you know that that's a bad thing, right? It's like feeling that warmth and the humidity is like, oh, okay, well, the ingredients are there. They do say storms look to clear the coast by 0Z on Monday, which is about 8 p.m. Everything I just read to you is from weather.gov. You're going to go there, and if you want to read the same thing, click where you live. It gives you the little picture. You're going to scroll down. Sometimes they have some cool summaries that can help you there as well. But then we're going to go ahead and click this forecast discussion. And this is exactly what I was reading to you. It may seem technical at times. Scan it. You'll be surprised how much information you can get from this. They break it down into sections for like right now and tomorrow and long-term-ish, depending on what's going on with the weather. So it's really helpful. So let's talk about after that and the 4th with what we see here. So now what I've done is I've gone to the GFS model and I'm looking for the entire region because this just is not a very granular forecast model. So here we see Saturdays and Sundays kind of rain and stuff pass through. Once again, notice this granularity, how it changes, because this is the line that's going to give us the evening thunderstorm. So if your weather app is relying on the GFS, you are not aware that this is coming. So anyway, here we go. We can see kind of the risk of storms that come through. Then the nice thing is then high pressure builds in, and high pressure builds in right until the 4th. Now at first, this high pressure is off to our west, which means it brings cooler, dry air from the north, which means Monday is going to be the coolest and driest day of kind of the week. And then as this moves and shifts, it starts to warm up everything else, especially as this is further off to our east. It brings really warm and humid air up from the south and the west. something is passing through here on the 4th. Timing of that at this point is going to be too early to say. As of right now, the GFS is showing this clearing and being out of the way for most of New England, which would be great. But with this many days, I mean, we're talking 5-6 days in advance, 138 hours away from right now. It's hard to nail anything down. So my weather weenies, you're going to either have to check these models yourself, which I don't think is the greatest choice. I think the best thing for you to do is go to weather.gov and read those discussions and see how the situation is evolving. So for some more context on the 4th and actually the week after, reading the forecast discussion, they say, hey, we've definitely moved into the tropical summer pattern here for New England. The tricky part is what becomes of the closed low that shifts late to our southeast late in the week, and whether that acts like a block to allow southwest flow to settle in, or makes for another round of hot, humid weather, or keep flow more zonal, basically like east to west, and give us more typical weather. So they're already telling you that the forecast models are not agreeing on what's going to be happening at the end of the week. And so if you're looking out like after the 4th, like for Friday or something, and want to know what's going on, you cannot trust the forecast models right now. It's too unstable. And before that, they say, you know, Wednesday night and Thursday are the next chance for precip, but there's still a lot of uncertainty with this weak system. So at this point, doesn't look like a complete washout for the 4th, but also doesn't look like it's going to be completely dry either. So that's what we've got. A little bit of rain tonight, Saturday, June 29th. Possibility of severe storms rolling through. Ooh, let's check that actually on the forecast models. It's at the end of this run for the HRRR forecast model, but here's where that cold front moves through. And this is that line. And this will be real fun for me with where I'm going up in Maine, off the grid with no information. It looks like I get to storm chase by canoe. So you can see like the line that comes through here. And this is just the line when it comes through where you're going to have your thunderstorms. If there's going to be any brief like spin ups, tornadoes, hail, isolated winds, or anything like that, it's going to be in this line. So timing at this point is kind of ridiculous to say, just because we're at the end of the forecast model period. It seems like it's going to be an event that's a little bit more on the early side, right? So this is, my computer has a mind of its own today. So this is like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5, 6, 7, 8. And so once again, you know, National Weather Service said, hey, it should all clear the coast by 8, but then we see this here too. So still some uncertainty. If you really need to know, follow those forecast discussions. So that's all the info I have. Be safe. Find your forecast information out there. You guys are like good weather weenies. You've got this. You've trained for this. I'm going to have a good time getting off the grid, escaping everything for a little bit, which is a good thing. We'll talk weather again, probably somewhere around the 4th or just after.